What is a very interesting example of a mutualistic relationship between two different animal species? Well, glad you asked. This is the Honeyguide. It is a little bird that is native to sub-Saharan Africa. These little birds, they very much like honey and eating bee larvae, and they are very good at finding hives of African honeybees. However, unfortunately for this little dude, he is very small and cannot actually break into the beehive to get at the delicious honey and bee babies. So what is this little bird to do but call on their buddies? Their buddies being him, a honey badger. And honey badgers have a reputation of being absolute assholes, and that is rather well deserved. They are very angry. You do not want to fuck with them at all, even a little bit. These guys do not give a single solitary shit and will go after anything that it feels is even a little bit of a threat, including humans and lions. And they have very, very thick but very, very loose skin on them, so they can quite easily withstand a lion bite without being injured basically at all. They are basically furry tanks, and to be quite honest, I would rather go up against a tank than I would an angry honey badger. So these guys also really, really like honey and bee larvae, but they are not the greatest at finding them. So that is where their little buddy, the Honeyguide, comes in. So what happens is the Honeyguide goes out and finds a honeybee nest and is like, sweet, I want to eat this, but I can't get into it. So the little bird goes and finds one of the honey badgers and leads them towards the nest. The badger follows because they're like, sweet, I also want this honey. So they follow the Honeyguide over to the nest. The honey badger basically just attacks the nest, not caring at all about the bee stings because they're super thick and tough skin. They are barely affected. They really could not care less. So the honey badger goes and breaks open the honey bee hive, breaks it open. It starts eating all the honeycomb with the bee larva and the honey and the wax and all that. And the Honeyguide gets to pick at the bee larva also left in the hide. Not hide, hive with a V. So this is a win-win situation for everybody except for the bees. But the Honeyguide gets into the beehive and the honey badger gets led towards the beehive and breaks it open and gets to eat all the honey, and the bees are just kind of screwed. Oops. Yeah, that is one of my favorite examples of mutualistic relationships in the animal kingdom. And also, I love honey badgers, but they scare me.